Here I am in the workshop at the easel, and I've got this saw here. It's been given to me by a magician, and I'm lettering it according to a style from an old theatrical poster. It's a pretty straightforward, simple kind of job, and I'm about to kind of finish it off. We've got the name there, and then over here it's got to say illusionist. So there we go, PT cell bit in this kind of style, and then hopefully you can just make out I've chalked up some guidelines that say illusionist here. Very faint, but that's okay. I might just grab this pencil and just where are they? There. Put that in a little bit bolder. Oh, I've got an eye here somewhere. Oh, maybe that should be further away. Remove a bit of lick on the old finger. Rub it off. Illusionist. Okay. Oh yeah. And that will be, tops of the letters is going to be like there. Illusionist. And the bottom down there. Right. Next, let's get some paint out. So over here, right, brushes. I'm thinking a little one, probably this one here, which is a Dave Kinniston. They're always nice. Dave's over in Wales. He's the master of a lot of stuff, especially the Romans. He's become more known for now, and yeah, they're really good brushes. So you get it out because it's covered in grease. The grease in there is what keeps the brushes from going dry. And then over here, rinse it off in some white spirit, dry it with that. Oh, give it a twisty thing like this, spin it out to sort of dry it off. That'll do. Right, so this is going in red. Right, paint wise, I want something that's not too shiny, and my attention is going right up the top here to this. It's some one-shot poster, which is probably about right. Thing is, this stuff they don't make anymore apparently. Let's just tilt that down. Fuck. There. Okay. Now you open up the tin and you go, oh look, it's all rock hard inside. That's exciting. Okay, what can I do with that? Look over here. Got one of these jobs. Jesus Christ. Right. That's well gone. Oh, pardon my French. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. Right, so we want some red that's not too shiny. In that case, it's going to be up the top there. That one there, which is Mr. Craftmaster. That's what, yeah, so it's important to put your lids on properly. Right, this is rock hard, but it's just a skin, so we're laughing. Go around the edge, peel that off. Get hold of just a little bit of this obviously there are different ways of keeping your paint nice and fresh, and this is none of them, but c'est la vie. So I've got some in there. Always wipe this with a cloth, but I'm not doing that now. It's just how it is. A bit of white spirit in there, and kind of work it back up to being the right kind of consistency, which should be kind of like cream, I suppose, is what people say quite often. So I need a bit more out of there. Oh dear, got some lumps in here and all sorts. Not ideal, but it will work. So there we go. More of that. Stir it round. Keep going. Watch out for these bits of crispiness that are just kind of stuck in, floating from the skin on the top. And I've got to lose them, obviously. That's a bit too depressing. Oh well. It will thicken in a bit because it's already drying. All paint starts to dry as soon as you kind of expose it. So, you know, by the time I'm kind of set, this might be better. Let's get a blob more. Note to self, must order new paint. There, that's a bit better. Right, that'll do. Now, so I've got this. Now I'm looking in here for my mould stick, which is here. Mr. Peter Anthony's patented mould stick. Right. Find the brush you've just cleaned, which is probably somewhere about, there we are. Brush, mould stick and glasses. What more could a boy want to make him happy? Right, I'm going to go over here, shift this over, because this peg gets in the way. It's bloody ridiculous. Right, it's a kind of a block letter with a little bit of a serif. I don't really know what that's called, but you see it here and there quite often. Come in on the old serif and then go down and come back out with a little serif. I guess it's a kind of Roman, really, I suppose. And what I'm doing is I'm using the brush to dictate the stroke width. You can see it's not very opaque, and that's because it's crappy paint that I've blinking just scraped out at the bottom of a pot. But I think it'll be fine. I've noticed that that's coming up a bit shorter than my line, so I'm going to have to be consistent with that. There we go. So I'm sort of like I dip in the cup to get fresh paint, and then I scrape my brush on the edge of the cup, which helps to make the chisel shape. That there is my mate Mick on the phone. Watch you, Mick. I am engaged in lettering as we speak.
I'll be very quick then.
Okay.
I mentioned that wheelchair, and Katie said that would be awesome because she's got a cancer patient.
Yeah.
That can't afford one.
Okay, well, a bit later on, I will go back and speak to the current wheelchair owner.
Yeah.
And see what we've got and get back to you.
If you could send us a picture.
Yeah, I will do. That's cool.
If there's any money involved, let me know and I might pay for it myself.
Get out of it. There'll be no money, but it might not even be available. Who knows? In this day and age, things are liable to change.
Right. I've just taken me benefits off.
You what? Oh, well done. Did it come off?
Yeah, pretty good as well.
So now you're ready to re-let her?
Just about. But I would say I've just bought the smallest bottle of methylated spirit for £5.
Oh, that's how it is, isn't it?
It's life. Anyway, I'll let you go.
Right. Cheers, mate. Thank you. I'll get back to you a bit later this afternoon.
You're a diamond.
Take it easy. Bye. Right, onwards. There we go. So yeah, so I guess that a classic Roman letter has varying stroke widths, like thick and thin, whereas very often on these kind of posters, theatrical stuff, like I was saying, you get a kind of a block letter that's got serifs. That's a kind of a Victorian style of doing things sometimes. So that's what I'm into. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, so the brush is kind of making the letters itself, really. Like, I know where I want to go, and you just kind of lead it down and then it does the rest once you're a bit used to it. So just the tip is going on like that, and then as you apply pressure it gets fatter. Right, I must be off. Bye. Hey, here we are again. I had unexpected visitors, and they turned up, and then whilst they were here I did the rest, really. So that's the beauty of real filmmaking, I suppose. I'll show you up close what happened. There we go. Let's just go over here then. So in the end, I put a red outline around here, and here was this word illusionist, and then I put a black shadow. I'll tell you what, let's put this light on, see if it gets any better. Maybe. I put a black shade just to make the lettering pop out a bit, so as to appear kind of 3D-ish, but not. So there you go. The last thing I did was to put a little bit of talcum powder over it while the paint was still tacky, and that has the effect of kind of aging it down, making it a bit flat. Now, normally with lettering, you would put more than one coat on, because you can see the brush marks here like this. But that's the kind, we're after kind of an aged look, so I think that's probably about right. So that's that. Now my brush is over here, sitting in this pot. Clothes peg, as taught to me by Uncle Mick, and now I'm going to wash that and rub it in some oil down here, and the oil will stop it drying. Just like these babies in here, they're all still kind of greasy and oily, and they won't go hard and horrid. So there you go. I think the next time I'll try and actually film something properly from start to finish instead of kind of buggering about like that. But never mind, it's a start. Cheers. Morning. Yesterday I had to stop because there was somebody at the door. And then they came in and sat there talking at me while I felt guilty and had to just keep working. So I kind of just motored along, getting on with this saw. And today I thought, I didn't sleep very well, so I was lying in bed thinking about every single thing in the universe, and one of those things in the universe is this saw. And I was thinking about this writing here. So the reason why we've got an ivory light colour here and then red there is because the main thing in recognising lettering in signs or any design really, I mean it works for pictures too, is contrast, like light and dark. The difference between them is more important than like colour. So you can have, like, you think red and blue are really different colours, but if you have red on top of blue, you won't really be able to see it because they're both kind of in the middle somewhere. So it turns out that when I hold my hand up like I was doing a minute ago, but I'm not going to do it now, really quick, that stops it filming. It's like a sensor thing on the camera that helps me turn it on and off, and that's what I just did, so sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, red and blue won't work. That's why good things are things like red and white. Black and white is why books are black and white, basically, because it's about contrast. Contrast is what you can see easily. So this red doesn't really stand out, and that's the point. It's supposed to be secondary because the most important thing is the name, P.T. Selbit, and then what he does is a secondary thing, which is why the secondary thing is in less contrast. But I decided that it's too little contrast, that we need something to make it pop out a bit. So what I'm going to do is put a little line down the middle of these letters this morning just to get myself going for the day. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, yesterday when the phone rang, I had that random conversation about wheelchairs. Do apologise for that. That's my mate Mick. He's a fabulous, wonderful person. And his daughter kind of organises a charity that helps people get access and things they can't get access to, people with different disabilities or whatever. Anyway, that's it. I know it might have seemed a bit random, but I was just I had an idea and I was just to talk to him about it. Anyway, we'll get stuck back into that. I reckon this is probably a good way to go. Use this same brush to give me a kind of bit more consistent line around the edge, and I can also nibble back in on that a little bit. Probably. Yeah, probably. Where are we going down here? and then round the corner. Oh, all right, yeah, excellent. Right, this is something that happens. It's a menace in sign writing. It's called blobbing your mile stick into your letter. Never mind. We'll put it up there and then it won't happen again. Yeah, very depressing. Right, yeah, so that was that yesterday. Loads of interruptions. That's just how it is. I mean, it's constant. I don't have time to get bloody anything done. I'm always up to no good. Or not up to no good. I'm always getting distracted. Life gets in the way of trying to do work. Again, maybe that's a good thing, eh? All I know is I'm not really the world's greatest businessman because I divert too much of my time to doing things for other people or just because they're the right thing to do. Or I'm easily distracted. I mean, I seem to remember that being a problem in my youth. Okay, so look, bomb down here. This position I'm in, it works a bit better with me holding my brush a bit further back. Feels like I can get more, instead of being right down on the ferrule, which is that metal bit, getting quite into this. Sometimes I find with smaller lettering, I can get drawn into it. I think it's my eyesight. I mean, you kind of just want to see everything that much clearer. You want to see the tip of the brush and you want to really get in. So I find myself getting closer and closer and more hunched over. And then, you get back problems and stuff, but also you actually make it harder to work because it's much easier when you can sort of get a bit of distance and see exactly what's going on. But, these things happen. So I think it's like everything, you constantly got to be looking at what you're doing, and thinking, hang on a minute, I've fallen into a bad habit. Maybe that's what it is. Right, I'm going around this way now. I mean, with a thing like this, you're always learning, right? So you're always learning, and people tell you this and that and whatever. But I remember hearing a lot. Okay, so sign writing is one of these things that traditionally people were taught like a system. Okay, for an S you make this stroke, then you make that stroke, then you make that stroke, and that makes an S, which is basically still going on today, really. Yeah, that's better. Still going today, really. Up to a point. But and with some types of personality, some people, same it is in anything, some people really get into rules, don't they, and regulations, you know what I mean? And then they say, that's wrong, you're not doing your S the right way. And people say, yeah, but it looks good, it's a good S. And they're like, yeah, but you did it wrong, mate, and that's really important. But as you may have guessed, that's not really me. I'm not into that. So long as it, if you're really trying to learn and you're having trouble, start off like that, yeah, cool. But at the end of the day, whatever gets you through the night, is that a thing? Whatever gets the job done. if you're trying to paint an S, no one really cares. Never, my mate Mick would be saying, no one's going to drive down the road and go, look at that S, I bet he painted that top bit first and then the bottom bit. They're just going to go, oh, that looks like a nice sign. You know. And that kind of thing is what you've got to hold in your mind, because otherwise you'll go absolutely bonkers. You know, starting out on a journey like this. Don't get hung up on the details, I suppose. That's what I'm saying. Let's get that longer and poke the end over there. There, now I've got a nice little bit of purchase. I mean, the thing is, like, the longer your mastic gets, the longer you're holding the brush, the more kind of sway you get, and the more every little movement could be exaggerated. So in fact, it might make things more dangerous. But yeah, maybe it's more exciting. I don't know. Okay. I'll come round there. We'll do that flicky bit. Let's just make that a bit bigger, a bit better. Yeah, so there you go. I'll stop talking for a minute, sorry. Every now and then I have to tap my little screen just to see whether or not what I'm doing is actually on the camera. So if you think, why does he keep doing something or other? I don't know. Because of that. Right, it's pretty kind of, yeah, it's better. I like it more. This eye and, right, by comparison, these are a bit chunky. This is nice and bold. It's falling away a little bit there, so I'm going to build that up a little bit. Build it up a little bit. Now I grab it now. Moving him along. Stay there, thank you. Yeah. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, that was daft. Coughing. Right, okay. There we go. Oh, yeah. Didn't even see it, did you? That's ridiculous. Right, adjust body. Okay, I must have slouched. Here we go. Ooh, that's much nicer now. Much better. Put a bit on the bottom. I mean, that's the thing. You can't really see, probably, a lot of what's going on here, but hopefully you get the gist. Like that line there makes things a lot nicer than they were before. Yeah, this isn't really what you'd call, like, you know, kind of top end fine lettering kind of job, you know. It's theatrical. I like that word. My customer used it a lot when we were talking about letter stars, and it was something I'd never really thought about. And we were looking at theatrical posters. And I should say, I think I did him a disservice yesterday when I said he was a magician. I admit, I did look him up because I wasn't sure. I was intrigued, that's what it was. And oh yes, he's more than just a magician. He's a manufacturer of magicians' magical equipment, I suppose. like things to cut people in half and all that kind of gear. I mean, you know, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that might be better. I've got to go back and sort out this smudgeroni here. That's no joy in that. Right. Oh, there we are. There it is. Looking good as ever. Right, just wants a touch in that O. I was just thinking, I think this lettering is a little bit Beano-ish. If anyone's watching this not in the UK, then Beano is an old British comic book. Sorry. I reckon that'll do. Okay, so this is kind of just painted, just a little bit wet still. You can see that that's got, you might be able to see, this has got a matte kind of a finish, and this is not going to dry quite so matte because this paint is supposed to be matte finish, but it's not. So what I'm doing here is I've got a thing called a pounce pad that we'll talk about one day, and basically it's got talcum powder in it. And so what I'm going to do is kind of do this. I'm tapping and I'm putting powder on it like that. And what the powder's doing, the powder will take away spoil the gloss where it's still damp. The little particles will settle down on the surface of the paint. Stop it being quite so shiny. There. And you get a lovely smell, so that's very nice. Well, that's probably it really, isn't it? I mean, saw's over there drying. I'll talk to the person who it belongs to and get them back to pick it up. You've had a little look at like some of the stuff I do. That's the thing. What I do is always really varied, and you never know what's going to be next, and that's why I like it really. Well, I don't know if that's why I like it. I don't know about the not knowing what's going to be next, but variety's the spice of life, and it keeps your brain ticking over. I mean, like. Yeah, like that. Look. So I'm going to show you this. I don't know if I'm ever going to actually do this, but it's a thing. Someone's asked me to. So my friend has said to me he had a painting which had a rip in it, and given I'm a kind of artist, would I be able to do anything with it? So it's a lovely painting by a chap called George Cole, who is a painter of the Norwich school. It's a lovely landscape, it's got beautiful colours, but he said it had a rip in it where it had fallen off the frame had come off the wall, and then when he actually gave it to me, I could see what kind of state it's in. Look at that. But okay, well, one of the disappointing things is that it's in the past it's been stuck. Someone's repaired it by sticking it to a piece of board, but now it's stuck to that bit of board. Some of it's really stuck and some of it isn't really stuck, and I can't remove it from that board because when that's been attempted, you see all these cracks in the paint where the paint won't stand the pulling. So there you go. I might paint another version of this. I think maybe if I get time, that's what I would do. Is just not a copy, not a forgery or a copy or something. I don't know. But just I might paint something that looks like it, and then you can have that up instead. And keep this in the shed or something. I don't know. So there you go. Well, these films are just like a little test to see whether or not it actually works, whether or not I can operate the camera and walk around and do this kind of thing. And it seems like it's sort of doable, so I probably will do them again. Cheers.